Not everyone is expected to like India's humanitarian initiative of vaccine maitri, but what appears a bit tragic is that voices which seem to be vilifying, mocking or shaming India are actually emerging through those foreign media outlets whose countries have zero contribution when it comes to COVID-19 vaccine exports. To analyze India's contributions better, let's have a look at how various countries have performed when it comes to helping the global community with vaccines. Predictive science intelligence company Airfinity looks into a number of vaccine doses produced and exported as of March 2021. It shows the terrible performance of countries like the UK and the USA, who often present themselves as the saviors of the world. Take a look. Both nations have zero vaccine exports. Even though India is not as wealthy as these nations, it has shown what generosity and global responsibility actually means. Now take a look at this. This is the list of 95 nations to which India has exported vaccines to fight COVID-19. Many of these nations have received vaccines from India for free. As you can see, India has served so many developing and poor nations. Even during the month of April, when India was fighting the second wave of the pandemic itself, it delivered vaccines to various nations through the COVAX initiative. By the way, even the former colonial power, the UK, a country which didn't export vaccines to any nation, is the beneficiary of vaccines from India. On the contrary, the UK has been involved in a bitter vaccine supply dispute with the European Union. Even the USA's own neighbors have received vaccines from India, something which can be considered quite embarrassing for a nation which prides itself as the world's greatest economic superpower. Not only that, many rich Western nations which often preach morals and ethics to the world are almost shamelessly hoarding vaccines. According to Dr. Ivar Mendes, the truth is 10 of the richest countries in the world have really hoarded about 80% of the vaccines. Last year in December, Oxfam International revealed how Canada was among the biggest hoarders of COVID-19 vaccine pre-orders, with enough vaccines to vaccinate each Canadian 5 times. It should remain clear that just because the second wave of the pandemic has prompted India to be in a self-care mode and has even affected India's vaccine exports, it doesn't mean that the global population will get vaccinated without India's involvement and support. For many years, long before this pandemic even began, India supplied affordable life-saving vaccines and medicines to the global community, not to compete against any country, but to contribute to saving lives. Even before the coronavirus pandemic, India's massive pharmaceutical industry was the source of more than 50% of global demand for various vaccines. Even a country like China, against which many feel that India is competing in so-called vaccine diplomacy, has acknowledged the importance of India's pharmaceutical industry. Not only that, long before the COVID-19 pandemic, the Chinese state-backed media outlet had even reported how, in utter desperation, many Chinese were found to be smuggling India's medicines. Through its vaccine maitri initiative, India has visibly contributed to the global community's fight against the pandemic in departments where even the richest nations have failed. But despite India's sacrifices and efforts, it seems that numerous Western media outlets continue to bash and blame India without giving it the credit that the nation truly deserves.